Hey guys, it's Ben with Myers Woodshop. I'm going to show you how to disassemble the Onefinity CNC today because I'm going to move it over to my buddy Cody's shop and we're going to reassemble it because we want to do CNC work over there and we need to take it out of my shop. So with all the other machines, usually the wasteboard is part of the main frame. And if you're going to move it somewhere, you can easily pick it up, but when you move it, you risk the shifting of everything. With this one, they made it to where one person can move it and reassemble it really easy. So all we need is one Allen wrench and a drill with whatever you mounted the machine to. I used 4 screws, so I'm going to drill it out. So the first thing we need to do is turn the machine off. So we're going to turn the machine off. I'm going to remove the monitor and set it aside. And then we have 4 plugs we need to unplug. So we have this clip over here that's doing the Z. So we just unclip that. We have this one that's doing the X. And then we have the Y1 and the Y2. And we have now just removed all the electronics from the machine. It's that easy. I am also going to unplug the router because I'm just going to leave the router in there. We don't need to take it out. So that's unplugged. Now we have the Allen key and we have 4 Allen bolts on this side of the X rail. So we're just going to loosen all of these and then remove them. All right, we have the 4 removed from that one side. We're going to do the other side. Okay, we have all 8 bolts removed from the X rail. So now all we have to do is lift it up and move it away. All right, once we're done with that, all we need to do is remove the screws that we attach to our machine. So I have 1 screw there, and I have 1 screw there, and there's 1 rail. And I have 1 screw here, and 1 screw here, and there's my other rail. And now I have all 3 rails and all my electronics are ready to just carry by myself without a helper to my car, and we're going to take it over to Cody's shop and set it up. All right, as you can see, I'm in a different shop. This is Cody's shop. We're going to knock out some bears for a little project we have. So this is his work table we got. We're just going to turn this into the CNC table. So let me grab the rails and set them up. All right, so this is the Y right rail. We're going to do this one first because we're going to square everything to this. So I'm going to set it as far over on this side as I can so I have room to set the electronics on the other side. So that's why I'm doing it this way. All right, now we're going to put our screws down through here. We have 4 screws. I really only need to use 1. And then we're going to go off the back. But we're going to do the front first. I'm going to go in, tighten it down, and now we have our front. Everything else will square off of that. So I'm just going to do the front one for now. All right, so I'm just grabbing the other Y rail and I'm going to set it down. We're not securing it yet because we're going to set the X rail on top to get the right distance from far away. So this rail is going to be on this side. All right, so we got the Y rail. We're going to set it on one side and set it on the other side. And if we need to adjust distance, we'll just push it. This one needs to adjust a little bit further out. And this is why we didn't attach that Y rail down for our X-axis. Let me bring you over to the side and we'll check out how these lock together. All right, so you can see how our keyed end is. We have a little raise up here. So when we bring in our X rail, we're just locking that same pattern right in and it sits right on there. And now we have our 4 bolts to put down into this side and 4 bolts on the other side. Here's our 2 holes in the front. Here's our bolts. So we'll just stick 2 in the front. I'm going to stick 2 in the back, just mirroring the same thing. Then we get our Allen key and we're just going to screw them in just like that. All right, I didn't screw these bolts all the way down as tight as I can go because now it's time for squaring. So what we want to do is make sure that this rail is up against the front of this and the front of that one. We can do that by either pushing it. Sometimes they're a little rough, so you can take the ball screw and just twist it like I'm doing right here. And then we're going to go to the other side and do the exact same thing. And I just pushed it, and you can see it scooted that rail out. So now we're pretty square in the front. So I will tighten down all of these bolts as tight as they can go, and then we'll attach it to the table. I got my Allen key. All I'm going to do is take this Allen key and go ahead and tighten these bolts as tight as I can. And it's just the 4 bolts on either side, and then we'll be done with that rail. All right, we got our screw in the front right side, so now we're going to, since we have the X all the way to the front, we're going to put our screw in the front left side. All right, since our front is separated by the screws and we know we're good there, so we're going to grab the rail on the front just like this, pushing from both sides, and we're going to push it all the way to the back. And while doing this, it maintains the separation in the back as it does in the very front. So now we know the back is as far away on the 2 Y rails as the front. So we'll grab our drill and we'll screw in our 2 screws at both anchor points. All right, all I'm doing is taking 1 screw, zipping it right into the back corner. Then I'm going on the other side, taking 1 screw, zipping it right into the other corner. And the setup of the machine is complete. Now we just have to attach the electronics. So we're going to get our control box. I have made some space over on this side to just set it down because it's temporary. But if you're at home and you want to mount it somewhere else, it does have mounting holes. And you can mount it on the side, you can mount it underneath, you can mount it anywhere you'd like. This is the beta version, so the final version may look a little different because I've gotten this early, but it will be very similar. So we're going to get the 2 Y cables. We have Y1 and Y2. And we're just going to take these. We're going to take the quick connect plug and connect it right here. And we're going to take the other quick connect plug and connect it right there. Then we have the Z cable. All we do is quick connect right here. And we have the X cable. We just quick connect right there. All right, so we have the power supply. Again, this may be integrated into the one box, so this may change when it's finally released, but I'm just going to plug that right in the back for power, and then we're going to plug this in when we're all finished to power the main system. All right, now we have our remote control. If you want to use a remote, any USB gamepad will work, and even if you have a wireless one, that'll work too. You just need to plug it in to the back. It has standard USBs, so we're going to plug that into our standard USB. And then if you want to use a webcam, you can just grab any USB webcam, and what we have is a Logitech webcam. And I am just going to take that and plug it into the USB as well. This is just an off-the-shelf webcam. I'm just going to set it here so I can kind of generally monitor how things are going. Now next, I need to get the monitor, and I'll plug in the monitor cables. We're going to take our included touchscreen monitor. We're just going to attach it right there with our magnets. Then we're going to plug in the HDMI and the power USB. And then we're going to go on the back of the controller, and we're going to plug in the HDMI and then the USB to give it power. And that completes the setup. Now let's plug it in and we can start cutting. Okay, we have the Rower power cord. We're just going to plug that into the wall. And then we have the main power to the whole unit. We're going to plug that in. And we're going to come up on the front of our controller and turn it on. We're also going to push the power button on our monitor. And that'll turn on. Okay, we've booted up. Now, if you want to, you can adjust where your monitor sits. You can take it off and control it like this, or you can tilt it up and down, but I'm going to have it right over here. And you can see my monitor is showing the camera, so we can see what it's cutting. And now we're just going to use the remote control. Then we can control the speed, how fast it moves back and forth. We can move it slower if we wanted. So we're just gonna move it around now, and you're ready to adjust whatever you need to. And if we need to move the dust boot up and down, there's simple little nuts here. We can just move it up and down to wherever we need to. And now we'll just install a supplemental wasteboard here, and we'll be ready to cut. All right, if you go over to your buddy's shop and you set it up and you didn't bring the remote or you didn't have one, you can use the touch screen to jog. So we could touch it and just move it around. So I'm gonna go forward, and then I'm gonna go right, and then I'm gonna go Z down. And that's really cool. But sometimes you don't wanna bring the monitor, and you don't need the monitor, and the less you take over to a buddy, it's even cooler. So of course you're gonna have your phone. So I'm gonna whip out my phone, bring up the controller, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing that I did on this monitor as I'll do on my phone. So I'll just bring it forward, I'll bring it right, and then I'll bring the Z down. And how cool is that? That's less you have to carry, and you already have one of these in your pocket more than likely. That is how easy it is to move this thing. I moved it over to my buddy's shop, set it up about 15 minutes. Of course, it took a little bit longer to show you guys how to do it, but the more you do it, you can probably get down to 10 minutes moving this thing. I did it by myself. Nobody else had to help me lift this thing. Really a nice benefit of this machine. So I'm about to cut out some bears. I'll show you some B-roll right here. If you like If you like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up down below. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer every single one. If you want to check out Onefinity, they're at Onefinity CNC on Instagram and Facebook. That is ONE. Hit that subscribe button down below, and as always, happy cutting. Frick. What am I saying?
I don't know.
Let's try again. One more time. I'll show you some B-roll of us cutting. We're gonna cut some bears, and then my freaking phone. Let me start over again and watch. All right, that's how simple it is to just move it over to our buddy's shop and cut. I'm really excited. We're about to cut out some bears, and we're gonna double team. I couldn't say it. If you like this video, make sure to hit thumbs up. Hit stop. Let me start over again.